How do we know that something happened? That what we're seeing is real? That we're not being fooled by fate?
The inflationary universe could push the limit of our understanding back to the very first moments of the very first second. But how could we ever test it? How could we peer into the birth of creation? TV static holds a clue. 1% of the static on this screen comes from light from the Big Bang.
Some TV trickery is pretty familiar to us. This technology, green screen or color separation overlay, has been around in some form for decades. It allows us to convincingly give real people backdrops of virtual worlds for them to interact with. However, we're about to cross the threshold into a new world.
Engineers will have to design lighting systems that mimic the patterns on the surface. But even these artificial means don't go far enough.
It is important not just how much light you get, but when you're getting the light and what kind of light you're getting.
In the Light Research Center's lab, a test measures light's effects on brain activity. Hooked up to an EEG, a subject is exposed to different wavelengths of light. While all wavelengths stimulate the brain, blue light is the most effective.
The reason why we're working with blue light is because we have shown that the circadian system is maximally sensitive to blue light.
That may be because the color of the sky has programmed our brains to respond to the blue wavelength of visible light. RPI has found that the need for blue light is so ingrained into human DNA that it only takes a small amount to trigger alertness.
So this way you can effectively achieve the same result in reducing melatonin levels or increasing brain activities with less amount of power or with less light. So it's an energy efficient way of impacting the circadian system.
That energy savings would preclude the city from having to bathe common areas in blue light or from running ultra-hot lights to simulate sunlight. Instead, residents could take a more personal approach.
Blue light is so effective for the circadian system. We can get very low levels of blue light and be able to impact the circadian system.
Brief exposure to blue light is as effective as using a more common method for waking up.
What you can do is, just like a cup of coffee, you can use light for 15 minutes, 20 minutes to perk you up and to give you some alerting stimulus.
But if the forces of evil should rise again to cast a shadow on the heart of the city, call me.
Question. How do we call? He gave us a signal.
En plus, le marquage du temps qui va être une pulsion va être un élément supplémentaire qui va amener un intérêt pour la place du Marais et le centre-ville, pour les Montréalais et les touristes.
Cet édifice derrière a été le plus beau de Montréal quand il a été construit. Et ce qu'il y a d'extraordinaire, c'est qu'à partir de ce soir, il va être encore plus beau parce qu'il va être illuminé.
Vous le voyez, la place de Marie, c'est chez nous. C'est chez nous à la Banque Royale. C'est ce sentiment d'appartenance que nous avons de travailler ici depuis plus de 54 ans. Vous le voyez, la place de Marie, c'est la couleur bleue. Et chez nous, RBC, c'est notre couleur. Et de voir ces couleurs-là ici s'illuminer sur la place de Marie, dont le bleu, ça nous rend encore plus fiers.
Merci pour le 375e, mais vous éteignez pas après le 375e, là. Ça reste.
Today, the light from the Big Bang is still spreading out. You can hear it as a radio hiss. See it as television static. The very instant of the Big Bang, the most violent, most creative moment in history. Everything that's ever happened follows from this moment. Every religion, every culture has pondered it. But we still don't know what sparked this act of creation, or why. This is where our journey ends, and the universe begins. Until we reach another cooling cinder swirling in the afterglow of the Big Bang. We're back where we started, home. Only now can we really know it. Smaller, more fragile than we ever imagined. Destined to die, swallowed by a dying sun. But we shouldn't despair. We should rejoice. We've managed to experience the wonders of the universe. We should celebrate our achievements and enjoy our moment in the sun.
Which actually I was thinking in terms of sun safety was probably pretty good. You weren't all that into wearing sunscreen, but you actually protected your half of your face anyway with this mask. And then we would make these other ones. This one, it looks like we painted it yellow. I think you were like Sun King or something. So we painted this is a ready-made mask, but kind of a cheaper version. And then we, again with glue attach these foam pieces to make the rays of the sun, and we wore that. So kind of like Superman or Batman symbol, you had the special M that we created out of felt, and then I hand sewed it on. So yeah, I got pretty adept at making these little capes, basically a rectangle fabric, and then elastic in the collar piece, and it would gather a little bit, and then we would just tie like a bow to keep it on.
MP M10, la première maquette.
Le nom là, des voitures présentement, c'est un vrai nom d'ingénieur. MPM10, matériel, pneumatique, Montréal 2010. C'est une convention dans le domaine des métros dans le monde. C'est l'année de signature du contrat.
M5, I don't know if you were 5 at the time. And it's interesting, this dot is kind of important too. It's like, so this must have been some idea that you had, like Mirac 5. Again, the cuff theme. I think cuffs were pretty good because you knew that they were there. They were providing whatever they provided for you, but then they weren't overtly obvious.